Hello my friend, it's Pat Sloan here for my daily video, and today our topic is what's your latest finish? What is the latest quilt that you have finished? The last quilt that you put that binding on and got to use or give away. I want to hear about it. I'd love to see it if you share it over at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan at my community group at Facebook. The link is down below here in the description box down below. While you're there, click that subscribe button so that we can always chat every day. So I have a finish. Yes, I got the binding on, the red and white checkerboard. I used my Morrison Park. Ooh. So there you go. They use the Morrison Park. The backing is the newsprint, wide back newsprint fabric. Oh, my nose itches. I'll link it down below. So this is so exciting. So exciting. I will hang it in my studio here pretty soon. Switch it out. I still am doing the hanging sleeve. I'm still doing the handwork on that, but I consider this my finish for today. All right, let's put that over there. I also have a Q&A, a really good Q&A. We're going to talk about how to pick fabric for something maybe that's a little out of your zone, your comfort zone. So we're going to talk about that towards the end here. First is a mail call. Carrie, who is part of our community here. Carrie's also very chatty with us in the mornings when we do the live portion of this video. When the video first runs, we have a live chat window that's open and you can come and talk every morning. We do that at 7:15 a.m. so you can kick off your day with some quilting. And Carrie sent me this absolutely darling card that she made. Isn't that, look at that, it says, my friend. I love it. Carrie, I love it. And it's hexagons. Look, did you see? Hexagons. So cute. I'm going to have to hang that up somewhere. And then she sent me this darling cross stitch that says, I belong to the cross stitch nation. Carrie has more faith in me than I do, that my journey into cross stitching will be long and fruitful. It will. It's just slow and long and fruitful. I love it. Thank you, Carrie. Now, speaking of cross stitch, I am doing the charity sew along, of course, and then the cross stitch for Make-A-Wish. And I have almost finished. I'm doing the center in green. What I decided is that each of the units will have green in it. That'll green, yellow, the blues, pretty much like the colors that you see on the flying geese. But I want to have green in each thing as I go along. So that is my sort of mini goal within there. So I like having that. It's nice to have a little mini goal, a little something. Now I am working on the Jolly Bar Friendship, Jolly Bar pattern, the Friendship bracelets. So I've got quite a few of these done now. I think I have almost all of them. I think I have 4 more to do. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 of them. I've got 4 more to do for 12. And I was cutting off, all of these there's a little sew and flips here. So you have those little units when you're done. Like here's where I cut it off, and then I will sew a seam, and then I'm trimming them to 1.5. So let me just, because I want to show you what I'm doing. Okay, bring this over here too. So there's a couple things. Is that I am trying, it's like an experiment. I'm not trying, it's an experiment. I'm doing an experiment. My experiment is that while I am, it's like through June, I've considered it like I'll just do this for 6 months and see everything that I'm working on, if it's creating pieces, scraps that are big enough to work with, that I won't toss. I will try to keep everything that I feel is really big enough to work with, that crumbs, little strips, whatever, that I will, as I'm working, make up crumb blocks or strip blocks. So in that spirit, while making these friendship bracelet blocks from the Jolly Bar 3 book, I created lots of little half square triangles. There's not even all made yet. I've got them here in the card. So lots of these little half square triangles. And I trimmed them to 1.5, which means they finish 1 inch. And originally I thought, let me just bring this down here. I've got some other stuff over there for the Q&A at the end. But so originally I thought, oh, I would do maybe like an inner border, and then I would put all these 1 inchers, like I would do something like this. around it. And I thought, okay, I probably wouldn't have enough, which means I have to make a lot more of them. And in reality, to me, okay, keep that in mind. To me, those are a little out of scale. Like if they were 2-inch, I would feel like they were in scale better to the block. But at 1-inch, they're cute, but I'm just thinking they're going to get lost. They're just not going to have the impact or the effect to make it interesting. Maybe they would, but I decided I wanted to do something else. I wanted to come up with a different plan instead. So while you're cutting these, you end up with some of these little strips, that were coming off, and so I kept them. They're pretty small. I would not normally keep those. Those would have been gone, but I kept them, and then I sewed them into some units. There were also a few bigger pieces like this, so I put those pieces, and then I sewed these. Then I thought, okay, I've got this. It's not really that big. What is it? Okay, let me try something else. Let me just try to spiff it up a little bit. So for a couple of them, I put this on the top and the bottom, and I thought, well, maybe I trim it and then just sew some of these strips together, and I go round and round. It would be a little bit bigger block. It's like, okay. And then I might get like 2 blocks or something. But I thought, okay, when I got to this, I thought, let me just measure this. And if I measure it to 4.5 by 4.5, then these little units, which are 1-inch finish, this would be 4-inch finish side, these are 1-inch finish side, they could become a project together. So let's take a look at that option. That was fun. That I liked. So I have a little mock-up here. All right, so here is the mock-up. I have the block in the middle. So, right, and put all of these around the outside. So I banked them as 2 at a time. I sewed 2 at a time to get a sort of, flying geese unit with 2 half square triangles. I thought, oh, that's cute. But, my friend, I think I can do better. Let's take a look at this. What if I start rotating these? I thought, what happens if I rotate them? Because there's a lot of patterns there, there's a lot of different fabrics, and they're starting to blend into each other just a little bit. And so I thought, well, what if I did this? What if I just flipped them all around so the white part was against there, and now I've got, whoops. So I could either do it like this. Here's all the corners. So now, look, now isn't that much more interesting? But wait, there's more. What if I do this and flip all of these around? Here we go. And now I have this almost like an album block. I love it. I love that. Much better. And I have enough, I'm sure I have enough to do 4 of these. This will measure 6.5 by 6.5, a 6-inch finished block, because we have 4 plus 1 inch plus 1 inch. That's 6. If I do 4 of these, which, golly gee, I have 4 centers. I've taken these strips off the top and bottom of these because they're 4.5 this way already. So I have 4 of these. If I have 4 of these, I can put them together and make a pillow that will go with this quilt. So I can make a pillow to go with this quilt. I am in love. This is it. This is it. So very exciting, very fun to think of using those little 1-inchers that were cut off and then getting these strips used. Perfect, 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 perfect. So let me talk about the Q&A now, because that really is sort of a segue for color. You know, do you see how different that block looked when you switched the flying geese units so that the dark part was on the outside away from the middle dark part, and you outlined the middle with the cream? So different. So this is a great question that came from Marianne. And I'm hoping that I can show you here via a quilt that I have and then some fabrics to answer her question. So her question is, can you explain, she says, to newer quilters, which really, though, everybody can benefit from this, because some people have trouble with this all the time. It's all about picking fabric colors. Can you explain how to start selecting fabrics that might take a step outside of your comfort zone, step outside your normal way of picking fabric, a step outside your box? You know how we sometimes put ourselves in a little box. We just do Civil War quilts, or we just do Cape facet print quilts, and you want to do something different. I think I can demo this really well with my quilt, the Never Enough Chocolate. Because first of all, I did Never Enough Chocolate in 3 different colorways. And when you go to the pattern page, you'll see some other colorways there. But I did it in dark chocolate, which is sort of the main cover. Then I called it milk chocolate, which is got the different shades of red. And then I did white chocolate, which is very pink, like soft pink, soft pastels, which looks totally different. Very, very different than the other 2 quilts. So when you're looking at this quilt, there's basically, if you look at the dark chocolate one again, let me put that up. It has basically 3 colors. So there's red, black, and gold. So if you look at it as a red, black, and gold, so you need 3 colors. So if you want to go out of your comfort zone and pick something different fabric-wise, then you want to be picking 3 colors to keep it simple the first time and stick to that formula, versus the white chocolate, which has a lot more colors going on. So I'm going to take my Morrison Park bundle here, and I pulled some colors from it. So let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what you think. So first I decided that for 3 colors, I would go ahead and pick green. Let me just pick one pink and red. So if I did that whole quilt in green, pinks, these 3 fabrics, it would give a really great effect. The effect that you would get and the coloration would give you the feel, let me pull this up again, the feel of my charity quilt that's on the wall. So the charity quilt here is done with Morrison Parks in pink, greens, reds, and little pops of gold. But there you can see that is the feel, and it looks very different from the dark chocolate version of Never Enough Chocolate. Now, if you wanted to make this a little bit scrappier, then what you would do was come in with similar fabrics, and you would be spreading them around. So here's another pink. Here's another pink. And then for the greens, you could do these, add some more greens, and then maybe you keep maybe you keep the reds by itself. So there is a grouping with more fabrics, but all keeping in those same 3 colors: green, pink, and red. Now let's do something very classic, and I think this is a way that you could switch it up for anybody in any style of fabric. Pick 3 colors and go red, white, and blue. So if you've never sort of switched out of maybe traditional fabrics in red, white, and blue, but you want to go to more brighter fabrics in red, white, and blue, then just pick those 3 colors and pick them in the tone, the look. Maybe they would be pastel. Maybe this would be pale pink and white and pale blue. That would give you the same sort of effect. And once again, if you want to add in and mix it up, this could be, you could do several reds. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here too. So there we have red, white, and blue, but with more fabrics in the mix. So that is how I would handle changing your style. And honestly, I have done that. In the past, I have worked in many styles. When I first started my business, I worked in very primitive and folk art style, and then I switched it back to what I had originally done, was more like, clearer colors, happy colors, less browns. So it's very doable, but you have to practice at it. So if you've not ever switched, Never Enough Chocolate's a great one to try. And then I also showed you recently this version I did the other day. I showed you from my bin, which was just 2 colors, but very scrappy in the blue and the off-whites, or the blue and the whites. So there you go. I hope that was interesting, and maybe if you try it, let me know if you have other tips for people on how to totally get out of the type of fabrics you usually use and use a totally different kind of fabric. Leave your comments down below. So I love you, my friends. Have a great day. I'll see you online. Mwah.